All right, so I am here with Tyler, and we are at Nine Line Apparel.
Yes.
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 Exactly.
So excited.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited too. So we came in, we landed in your parking lot this morning.
That's why I'm excited. Helicopters.
Helicopters are
They
awesome.
make me excited.
So we're in Savannah, Georgia right now. Now, can you tell me a little bit about your history?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a helicopter aficionado, I guess, too. Always been enthralled with aviation since I was a kid. I really wanted to go into the military.
Right.
I joined right after 9/11. I was 18 years old, and I went straight to West Point to flight school to every godforsaken country
Around the world.
since then.
Yep.
Mostly deserty places.
Sandbox.
Got Iraq tour. It was my first one. I flew Apaches.
Okay.
I got my gunship on, and then I came and assessed for the 160th. I got picked up as a lieutenant, came here, and pretty much the rest of my career was flying for the Night Stalkers.
Night Stalkers. Nice.
I flew Blackhawks out of Savannah, and really still have I guess passion.
A passion.
Towards aviation. I always go to my CFO and explain to her why we need an airplane or a helicopter, and she's constantly yelling at me and telling me
That's not in the budget. And you're like, no, we don't need
It's
this.
actually the word she uses.
I guess for some people that don't understand the term nine line, can you explain that?
Sure. Well, in the military, a 9-line is a CASEVAC call.
Right.
It could actually be a call for fire in my attack days. But most people recognize it as I've been injured on a battlefield and I need an immediate evacuation. So someone like myself would fly in, oftentimes to not nice places with not nice people that don't want you there.
I understand.
And you pull your battle buddy off of the engagement area, oftentimes saving their life.
Right.
So in the military, it's a call for help, and we like to say, back home, it's a call for action to try to reinvigorate patriotism in its truest form, which is to take care of your fellow countrymen. It could be something that resonates with us here,
Right.
doing what's right for your fellow man, or it could be your fellow Ukrainian out there fighting Russians. It's doing what's right for your fellow countrymen when no one is looking. It's the whole idea.
So rather than actually looking for the appreciation and the notoriety, you just want to do what's right to help others in need.
Yeah, I think that those are the quiet professionals, right? So in the military, like to say the Special Operations Group is that quiet professional. It's not beat your chest, look at me. It's
Right.
Speak softly but carry a big stick. So we try to do the same thing here.
Right.
Put your money where your mouth is, put your actions, to mean something. So we like to give back to our community, which is the veteran community, which is
Right.
the first responder community, which is that
'Cause I know you have
patriotic.
your foundation as well.
So 9-Line Foundation is a 501c that in the past have built wheelchair accessible homes for severely wounded veterans. And currently our initiative is to help homeless veterans to first find them housing, right? So we've been building tiny homes here in Savannah and now in Brunswick, Georgia, and creating a pathway to get them off the street into housing, and then from housing, education, job placement, and then eventually cycle them out of the tiny homes into permanent housing, and then cycle the next person in. So it's
Because a lot of people that, if you don't have military in your family, a lot of people don't realize how many veterans are homeless. Can you talk about that?
Well, here in Chatham County, the last assessment was between 200 and 300,
Right.
and that's just in this county.
Right in this area.
So there is, and that's just veteran homelessness,
right.
Which take up a percentage of the global population. But in the past, I think General Shinseki took it from a functional around 90, 100,000 to just about 40,000 in his tenure as director of the VA. From then, it's pretty much stagnated. It's been right around 35, 40,000 from the last time I checked. And there's habitual homeless people that they don't want to leave. Right. And then there's individuals that we're trying to help, which is looking for the hand up.
Because there are people that, for whatever reason, they have mental illness and they're comfortable in that situation.
Could be a litany of issues.
Yeah, and there's others that, substance abuse from the stress of military,
Sure.
it happens. So I guess you're trying to provide those resources so they can rehabilitate them lives and get back out to being contributing members.
That is the intention. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations. We've had a lot of successes. There's veterans that were homeless that work here. There's people that we've seen, go through the program and it's been very successful. With us and a partner with the Union Mission, which is another faith-based organization here in Savannah. So the idea is to work with other organizations in the community to set an example that, it's not a zero-sum game. We can all work together with the
and
end state.
help the people that want the help
Correct.
and need the help.
Yeah.
Now, what type of products do you offer? Obviously, I know you guys make shirts. Actually, you made the shirts for us and some of the promotional shirts, but what else do you guys make?
Hats, shirts, pretty much everything I'm wearing right now. I don't know how to dress myself. I usually go downstairs and just randomly grab different things from the racks, which is kind of my leisure lifestyle. Is more a t-shirt, shorts, hat kind of a guy. Just kind of the, different types of product lines that we offer here. But we got into glasses, we got into mugs, glassware, coffee, hydration. I mean, a litany of different products that we offer, and then we partner with other brands like Black Rifle, like Redcon One.
Right, and they're symbiotic to each other.
Correct, yeah. Right. And I like working with organizations that seem to have a very similar outlook on life and philanthropy and business.
Giving back and helping. Yeah. One of the things that we've been discussing with a lot of businesses as we go around is obviously the pandemic. And looking at, I don't want to necessarily say the positive side of the pandemic, but not just focusing on the negative. So what did you learn from the pandemic that maybe you could share with other business owners of how to keep on going and keep the business afloat?
Well, that would be a much longer episode.
Okay.
In the pandemic, we were shut down. We nearly went bankrupt. We ended up pivoting and making masks, both cloth and eventually some N95 variant masks.
Okay.
Things that I don't really enjoy wearing, I didn't enjoy doing, but it was the necessary evil to keep hundreds of people employed. And to not go bankrupt. So we've learned a lot since then.
Right.
There's no such thing as recession-proof, pandemic-proof, business-proof, but we're very nimble and agile. So we stayed up till 4, 5, 6 in the morning, becoming scientists and engineers again, learning how to do what we used to outsource overseas. So we've really put a big focus on manufacturing and becoming the best at what we do here in the United States, and encouraging people not to put their money towards businesses that have unhealthy and bad business practices, right?
Okay.
So if I go and outsource all of my things to a certain province in China that institutes slave practices, then I'm not being a good shepherd of my supply chain.
Right.
Then everything I talk about, being your brother's keeper, and
it's hypocritical.
It's extremely hypocritical.
Right.
To say that you really care about human rights, but it's only to the bottom line.
Right.
If your profit margin can be increased by having the people who are chained to a bed, who are not allowed to leave an area, who are killed if they don't do what they're told.
Right.
That sounds similar to what we used to do here in Georgia a couple hundred years ago,
right.
which is also inhumane.
Right.
So if we don't want to do it here, we can't outsource it and turn a blind eye and just say
elsewhere, which unfortunately a lot of companies do.
I could name a few.
Yeah, and so for you, this is a mission, not a mission statement. You care about it to the point, it's not just what you put out there saying, oh yeah, we have these great products and come buy, patriotic, but you're really buying it from some other country. You truly care, and you purchase things from locals as much as possible and try to have your supply chain as finite as possible.
Sure. Yeah, I've seen the war profiteering of bad companies in the DoD, as being a government contractor, and see what they really care about.
Right.
We're spending $3,000 on a chain link fence. Like 10-foot section.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasting money, abusing systems, abusing individuals. We pay very fair wages here in Georgia, but it's no way to compete with practices overseas.
Right.
So the only way for us to do that is to be smarter, faster, more nimble, provide additional services, and then to educate people. If you care about your supply chain, we can do 100% USA made. It's going to cost more. I can source things in South America to factories that
for
I
half
know,
the price.
Which is fine, because it's still paying a living wage, and it's still humane practices. You're not chained to a desk.
Right.
You're not little kids who are, in very inhospitable environments.
Yep.
So there's ways to do it overseas to get a lesser expensive price point for, say, some of my bigger customers who need a better margin.
They're more price conscious.
Sure. So I mean, it's a trade-off. You know, you want 100% USA made, it costs more. If you want some stuff made in South America but finished here, you know, it might cost a little less. If you want to institute slave practices in China, it's very cheap. I just won't go to that extent.
Right. So you source your stuff from various different places.
Yep.
So some products do you advertise as strictly U.S. made, and then some others so people can choose what works for them?
Yeah, we live in a world of choices. So if you want USA made from the scratch, we can provide it. If you want things that are assembled here, we can provide it. If you want things that, you know, are assembled and created elsewhere but at a lesser price, I can provide that too. I don't advocate for it, but I'm not going to give up on a sale.
Right, I understand.
You know, for something that's, you know, legal, moral, ethical.
Exactly.
It just, you know, there's some of those ethical boundaries that a lot of companies have no problem
Stepping over.
leaping over.
Leaping.
But then advocating about how virtuous they are. Where your make your money matters, and it's kind of like that blood money.
Right.
You know, blood diamonds. Like, I made a lot of money.
Exactly.
But
you're also living proof that you can have a good business, which you've had struggles, as you alluded to, but you can have a successful business and still have the morals, and that's something that I truly respect.
I feel like if I had no morals, I'd be worth a lot more money, but I'd have a hard time explaining it to my kids.
That's true. So I really appreciate the time that you had here, you know, showing us around here. We'll take a look down at your, you know, the floor and look at some of your products, and I appreciate you inviting us here.
Well, thanks for flying in, and not for landing on my dog.
Yes,
I would
which
appreciate
some
that.
people can't see. Obviously, some of my regulars know that my dogs, Bonnie and Clyde, are constantly interrupting me when I'm making videos. So your puppy is down here being quite, sleeping.
We'll see.
He's looking up. He's like, what do you
He's
want?
up now.
Hey,
He's good.
buddy. So anyways, thank you very much for inviting us here, and thank you guys for watching.